Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said this Thursday that she'd scheduled this year's general election for March the 24th. Against the backdrop of tension, chiefly the American threat to annex Greenland, Frederiksen's gambling that her straight talk and no compromise stance over Greenland will boost her political standing. There's also, of course, the threat ongoing from Vladimir Putin's Russia in the wake of the war in Ukraine. Let's get the analysis and bring in our correspondent from Copenhagen, Trine Villeman. Trine, thanks for being with us here on France 24. Has this declaration of a snap election taken people, well, as you might expect, by surprise?
No, not at all, actually. This was very much expected. The past 2 weeks, Denmark has been buzzing, basically, with the expectation that the Danish PM, Mette Frederiksen, would call a snap election. And the reason for that is that President Trump and his reinstated desire to acquire Greenland, the semi-autonomous part of the Kingdom of Denmark, has been political rocket fuel for the Danish PM. She has skyrocketed in the polls, whereas just a few months ago she was really in a bad state in the polls. She was absolutely doomed to lose the next election. President Trump's stance on Greenland and the way that Mette Frederiksen has stood up to him has really made her gain in popularity over these past few months.
She certainly came across as a very forthright and resolute character when she appeared over the Greenland issue and, of course, in any talks involving Trump and answering any questions on the issues. What is she actually hoping for from this election? Clearly to cement her position.
Oh, very much so. And I think perhaps she's also hoping to be able to form a government that's a bit more stable than the one she has, or the one that she dissolved this morning in Copenhagen. The current coalition that was dissolved today is the Social Democrats, which is Mette Frederiksen's party, and two center-right parties. And I think it's fair to say that they have not always agreed on everything. Whereas, she will probably have a bit of an easier ride if she manages to get in a majority. I don't think she'll get an absolute majority. Nothing in the polls suggests that. But she will be able to form a government, the polls say, with perhaps two parties that are left-hand side of the political aisle here in Denmark. And that will give her a little bit more of an easier ride in the political climate in Denmark. But nothing is certain, and we all know that memories can be very short when it comes to showing up at the polling station. So nothing is a done deal at the moment.
Nothing is a done deal, as you say. And there's also a saying that it isn't foreign policy that decides elections; it's domestic matters. What's on the agenda there in Denmark? What are the kind of things that Frederiksen will have to sort of edge towards in order to get the voters on her side?
Well, the Danish PM today, when she announced this snap election, pointed out a few things that she would like to work on if she is able to form a new government. She talked about strengthening the welfare state of Denmark. She talked about introducing a wealth tax for the very rich Danes, about 20,000 of those. And she also talked about security. She talked about strengthening the ties to Europe and making sure that Russia does not in any way, shape or form gain a foothold anywhere in Europe. And those are the issues she wants to campaign on. And I think that it's fair to say that those are also the issues that the Danes worry about. Prices on food is something that needs to be addressed, and she's clearly stated that she wants to do that too. She has already launched some initiatives in order to do that, to make it a little bit less painful when you go and shop at the supermarket. And I think the Danes are very much in line with the Danish PM when she discusses these issues. I think there is a big understanding and agreement amongst the Danes that the security, the welfare state and the economy are the main factors in this campaign.
Trine, thank you for that very thorough briefing of the situation. Snap elections, which didn't surprise anybody, you tell us, but nonetheless, it is happening. Trine Villeman there, joining us from Copenhagen, and I'm hoping that we'll be speaking more between now and Election Day, March the 24th. Trine, thanks once again.